Hey, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the crew trying to take control of their lives, $1 at a time. Seriously, it's a game changer, so stick with me. I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders years ago and screamed, "You're throwing your life away one swipe of your credit card at a time." I was 27, drowning in $12,000 of credit card debt, with nothing to show for it but a closet full of clothes I barely wore and a sinking feeling that I was failing at life. It wasn't just the money, it was the shame, the late-night panic attacks, wondering how I'd pay rent while still buying $200 sneakers I didn't need. That's when I stumbled across Dollars and Cents by Dan Ariely and Jeff Kreisler, a book that ripped the veil off my spending habits and showed me the ugly truth. I wasn't just overspending, I was sabotaging my future. The book's line, "We don't just spend money, we spend our emotions, our insecurities, and our need for instant gratification," hit me like a freight train. It wasn't about the sneakers. It was about me chasing a fleeting high to feel like I was enough. Let me take you back to 2021. I was working a decent job, pulling in $50,000 a year, but I was living like I was making double that. Every paycheck felt like a license to splurge. $300 dinners with friends, weekend trips I couldn't afford, and don't even get me started on the subscription services. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, some random fitness app I used twice. My bank account was bleeding $150 a month on subscriptions alone. I'd tell myself, it's just $10 here, $20 there. But Dollars and Cents called this the pain of paying trap. Ariely and Kreisler explain that when we use credit cards or digital payments, we don't feel the sting of spending, so we keep going. Cash hurts more. You hand over a $50 bill, and you feel it leave your hand. I wasn't feeling anything, and that was the problem. The worst part? I wasn't even happy. I'd buy a new phone thinking it'd make me feel successful, but a week later, I was scrolling X, comparing myself to people with bigger houses, fancier cars, and better vacations. The book nailed it. We're not just buying things, we're buying comparisons. That line burned. I was spending to keep up with an illusion, not because I needed half the stuff I bought. My apartment was cluttered with impulse purchases, $80 candles, a $400 coffee maker I used maybe 3 times. I was living in a cycle of wanting, buying, regretting, and wanting again. It all came crashing down one night when I got a call from my mom. She needed $2,000 for a medical bill, and I had to admit I didn't have it. Me, the guy who just dropped $500 on a new jacket, couldn't help his own family. I sat on my couch, staring at my bank account, $47 left until payday, and I broke. I wasn't just broke financially, I was broken inside. That's when I knew I had to change, not just for me, but for the people I cared about. Dollars and Cents became my lifeline, showing me that my overspending wasn't just bad math, it was bad psychology. The book taught me about opportunity cost, a fancy term for what you give up when you spend money on one thing instead of another. Every dollar I spent on a night out was a dollar I couldn't save for a house, a trip, or my mom's medical bills. Ariely and Kreisler put it perfectly. Every purchase is a trade-off, but we rarely think about what we're trading away. That hit hard. I started seeing my spending as stealing from my future self. The $200 sneakers? That was a week's worth of groceries for my future family. The $300 dinner? That was a payment toward a dream vacation I'd never taken. I was robbing myself blind, and I didn't even see it. By the end of 2021, I was done pretending I had it all together. I sold half my closet on eBay, won $500 worth of clothes I didn't love, and used it to pay off part of my credit card. It wasn't much, but it was a start. I stopped eating out, canceled every subscription I didn't use, and started tracking every penny I spent. It was humbling, embarrassing even, to admit how reckless I'd been. But for the first time, I felt like I was waking up. I wasn't just a guy with a spending problem. I was someone who could change. That's where my story shifts, and if you're stuck in the same cycle I was, yours can too. Stick around. I'll show you how I turned it all around. That moment of clarity, sitting on my couch with $47 in my account, wasn't a Hollywood montage where everything magically fixed itself. It was raw, messy, and terrifying. But it was also the start of something real. I'd read Dollars and Cents by Dan Ariely and Jeff Kreisler, and their words were still ringing in my head. To change your spending, you have to change your mind. That's what I set out to do. Rewire my brain, break the cycle, and build a life that wasn't revolve around chasing the next purchase. I'm not going to lie, it was a grind and I messed up plenty along the way. But I came up with 3 steps that didn't just stop my overspending. They gave me back my sense of control. If I could do it, so you can too. Step 1. Face the numbers, no matter how brutal they are. I started by tracking every single purchase I made for 30 days. Coffee, groceries, that $3 app I bought on a whim, everything went into a spreadsheet. It was like holding a flashlight to the monster under your bed. In that first month, I discovered I was blowing $400 on takeout and random online shopping. $400. That was half my rent. Dollars and Cents talks about mental accounting, where we trick ourselves into thinking small purchases don't add up. Ariely and Kreisler say, every dollar counts, but we act like some dollars are invisible. That hit me hard. I downloaded a free budgeting app, Mint, but any will do, and set a strict $100 limit for fun spending each month. Seeing the numbers in black and white forced me to stop lying to myself. Step 2. Cut the triggers that make you spend. For me, it was social media and emails from brands like Nike or Amazon screaming, "Sale ends tonight." I'd scroll X or Instagram, see some influencer with a new watch, and suddenly feel like I needed one too. Dollars and Cents calls this the relativity trap. We judge our purchases based on what others have, not what we need. Their line, "We're wired to want what we see," explained why I'd drop $150 on a jacket just because it was trending. So, I went nuclear. I unfollowed every brand and influencer who made me feel less than. I also set my phone to grayscale mode. Sounds weird, but it made those shiny ads less tempting. And I unsubscribed from every marketing email. My inbox went from 50 sales pitches a day to 0. Temptation gone, spending dropped. Step 3. Replace spending with systems that build wealth. This was the game changer. Instead of throwing money at stuff, I started automating my savings. Every payday, $200 went straight to a high-yield savings account before I could touch it. I also set up $50 a month to invest in a low-cost index fund. Nothing fancy, just a Vanguard account. Dollars and Cents emphasizes pre-commitment strategies, where you lock in good choices before temptation hits. Ariely and Kreisler write, "Make your future self thank you by making decisions now." That stuck with me. I also started a no-spend challenge. 1 weekend a month, I'd spend nothing but gas and groceries. It forced me to get creative. I'd cook with whatever was in my pantry, invite friends over instead of going out, or binge free YouTube tutorials to learn something new. Those weekends saved me $200 a month and honestly felt more fulfilling than any shopping spree. The results? After 6 months, I'd paid off $4,000 of my credit card debt. By the end of 2022, I had $3,500 in savings, my first real emergency fund. But it wasn't just about the money. I felt lighter, less anxious. I stopped checking my bank account with dread. I could say no to a $300 concert ticket without FOMO because I knew what I was working toward. Financial freedom, not just surviving paycheck to paycheck. My relationships got better too. Instead of blowing cash to impress friends, we'd do low-key stuff, potlucks, hikes, game nights. I realized most people don't care about your sneakers. They care about you showing up. Now, I'm not saying it was perfect. I slipped up. There was a $200 bar tab one night that still haunts me. But the difference was I didn't spiral. I adjusted, cut back the next week, and kept going. Dollars and Cents taught me that overspending isn't about being bad with money. It's about human nature. We're wired to seek instant gratification, but we can outsmart that wiring. These steps, tracking, cutting triggers, building systems, aren't just fixes. They're a new way of living. And the best part? Anyone can do them. You don't need a finance degree or a 6-figure salary. You just need to start. I'll never forget the night I checked my bank account and saw $6,000 in savings. Money I'd clawed back from the black hole of my old spending habits. It wasn't just a number. It was proof I'd stopped being the guy who'd panic over a $50 overdraft fee, the guy who couldn't help his family when they needed him most. That moment felt like breaking free from chains I'd put on myself. Dollars and Cents by Dan Ariely and Jeff Kreisler lit the fuse for that change, with one line that still haunts me. Your spending isn't just about money, it's about the life you're choosing. I chose to stop letting my impulses own me, and now I'm begging you to do the same. You're not stuck. You can rewrite your story, but it starts with action, not excuses. If you're watching this, feeling that knot in your stomach because your last paycheck evaporated on stuff you don't even care about, don't wait for a crisis to force your hand. Open your banking app right now, yes, right now, and scroll through your last 30 days of transactions. How many of those charges were for things that actually matter? That $5 coffee, the $70 impulse buy from an Instagram ad, did they get you closer to your dreams or just numb you for a moment? Ariely and Kreisler hit the nail on the head. We spend to chase feelings, not futures. So start tracking every penny. Use a budgeting app like EveryDollar or even a notebook. I spent 15 minutes a day logging my expenses, and it was like shining a spotlight on my mistakes. You can't change what you don't measure. Next, shut down the triggers that keep you spending. Social media is a minefield. X posts and TikTok videos flashing lifestyles you feel pressured to match. I unfollowed every account that made me want to swipe my card to feel cool. Dollars and Cents calls this the envy-driven spending trap, where we buy to close the gap between us and someone else's highlight reel. Try this. Mute every brand and influencer that sparks that urge to spend. Set your phone to grayscale to dull the shine of those ads. It's weirdly effective. And those flash sale emails clogging your inbox? Unsubscribe from every single one. I went from 60 marketing emails a day to 0, and my random Amazon purchases dropped by 70%. You'll feel the weight lift almost instantly. Then build a system that forces you to win. Automate your savings, $20, $100, whatever you can swing, and make it untouchable, like a bill you can't ignore. I set up $75 a month to a high-yield savings account and $25 to a Robinhood account for a basic ETF. 2 years in, I've got $200 saved and $800 invested, growing slowly but surely. Dollars and Cents talks about commitment devices, and their line, "Make your choices today so your future self doesn't hate you," became my mantra. Try a no-spend day once a week. Cook from your pantry, skip the coffee shop, find free stuff to do like a hike or a library visit. I saved $150 a month just by cutting out one weekend of splurging. It's not about sacrifice. It's about building a life where money serves you, not the other way around. You're going to mess up. I did. Last summer, I dropped $250 on a bar night I barely remember, chasing a vibe that didn't last. But instead of spiraling, I cut back the next week and got back on track. That's the difference. You don't have to be perfect, just persistent. If you're ready to stop overspending and start owning your future, smash that subscribe button. I'm here every week, dropping real talk on money and life every week. Share this video with someone who needs a wake-up call. You know who they are. Now let's make it real. In the comments, tell me, what's one purchase you regret this month, and what's stopping you from breaking that habit? Then take one step today. Download a budgeting app, unfollow a tempting brand, or set up a $10 savings transfer. Your future self is watching, and they're counting on you. Don't wait.